Sounds True presents Living with Intention with award-winning author and investigative journalist Lynne McTaggart. And now Session 1, The Science of Thoughts.
Hi, my name is Lynne McTaggart. Welcome to my program. This is a very different seminar about the power of intention. For one thing, it's got a lot of science in it. It provides a full scientific explanation about how your thoughts can affect yourself and the world around you. It also provides you with a blueprint about how to use intention in your life to affect real changes. I'm going to teach you a simple program I've distilled from the science, and also after interviewing many masters of intention, like master healers and Buddhists and Qigong masters. And finally, I'm inviting you to become a part of an actual experiment in your own life and with scientists around the world, the largest mind-over-matter experiment in history. So in this program, you're going to find out there's a great deal of science about the power of intention to change the physical world. Don't worry, it's not going to be daunting. You'll be able to understand this science. But it may be a little unsettling. This program rests on an outlandish premise that thought affects physical reality. You're going to hear evidence that our world is highly malleable, open to constant subtle influence. You'll find out that living things are constant transmitters and receivers of measurable energy. In fact, the latest models of consciousness portray it as something capable of trespassing physical boundaries of every description. In fact, intention is something like a tuning fork, causing the tuning forks of other things in the universe to resonate at the same frequency. This research undermines our current worldview that things exist independently of each other. It's going to challenge everything you've been taught to believe about the way our world works and the way you work. You're going to learn about the power we all possess to change ourselves and the world. This isn't just a power available to intention masters, but experience counts. Certain techniques will enhance your natural ability as a sender and a receiver. We're going to be asking a lot of questions. Should we be minding every thought at every moment? Is a pessimist's view of the world likely to be self-fulfilling? Are all the negative thoughts, that ongoing inner dialogue of judgment and criticism, having any effect outside our heads? And are there conditions that improve your chances of having a better effect with your thoughts? Does a thought work any old time, or do you and your target and even the universe have to be in the mood? And if everything is affecting everything else at every moment, doesn't that just counteract and nullify any effect? And also, what happens when lots of people are thinking the same thought at the same time? Is that going to have an even larger effect than thoughts that are generated on their own? You're also going to have the chance to practice this incredible innate ability through experiments. I'm enlisting you as a partner in my experiments. You're not only the audience in this program, but a primary participant in cutting-edge scientific research. Just before we start, I just want to tell you something about me. I'm a very conservative person, and I'm a natural skeptic. I'm not a scientist. I'm not a physicist. I launched my career as an investigative reporter, and that approach, that hard fact-based approach, has never left me. So I'm not a big fan of fluffy New Age spirituality. I tend to bristle at any kind of claims of quantum energy without hard evidence, or any sloppy uses of the word energy. There's not much woo-woo about me. So anything you hear today is based on scientific proof. I'm also not a guru. These are very radical notions, and I'm learning to incorporate them into my life, just as you are. I'm learning with you. My interest in intention started when I was researching my book, The Field. I was trying to find a scientific explanation for homeopathy and spiritual healing, and in the process of researching this, I found I'd inadvertently uncovered the makings of a new science. I came across an enormous body of research suggesting that consciousness is an actual physical something with the capacity to change physical matter. A lot of people like to say a thought is a thing, but I found a thought is a thing that affects other things. There was enormous scientific evidence showing that thoughts can alter machines, single-celled organisms, and even complex things like human beings. There was other evidence showing that you could measure this energy that changes physical reality. And then there were a lot of studies showing that intention worked just as well if you were doing it in real time as if you were sending it to some time in the future or some time in the past. It worked as well if you were 3,000 miles away as if you were sitting in front of something. It seemed to traverse time and space. I also found evidence that intention seemed to multiply in numbers. The more people thinking the same thought at the same time, the bigger the effect. So I wanted to dissect intention. I wanted to figure out what exactly it is. I mean, intention is a big buzzword these days. Everybody talks about using intention. Healers talk about healing with intention. People talk about working and putting intention into their work. Even Jane Fonda talks about mothering with intention. What on earth is intention? What I wanted to know was, how can intention possibly work? What's the science behind it? What on earth do you do with intention? And also, how on earth do you do intention? I also asked myself, how far can we go? You know, can I stand in the middle of a train track and stop the Metroliner with my thoughts? Or can I send myself up on top of my roof to fix my aerial with my thoughts? Or can I use my thoughts to help my kids pass their math test? Or even, and most importantly, can I use my thoughts to somehow alleviate the vast catalog of suffering on the planet? But to find out all of this, I had to look at how we work and how the world works, and also to examine our scientific story, the story we've been told about ourselves. We perceive science as some sort of ultimate truth, but science is finally just a story, told in installments. One of my favorite writers, Joan Didion, once said, "We tell ourselves stories in order to live." But the biggest story of all is science, and we live by the scientific story we're told, about our health, about how we're made, about our inner selves, about our place in the world, about our human capabilities. The problem is, that story creates our world, and before long it becomes our truth. If you think about it, our current scientific story is more than 300 years old. It's a construction largely based on the discoveries of Isaac Newton. Now, Newton was a genius, and I don't want to denigrate Newtonian science. After all, I go lots of places, and I fly in an airplane, and I'm very grateful that it works on Newtonian science. I wouldn't want to take a quantum airplane anyplace. Newtonian science has given us technological mastery of the universe. But according to this Newtonian vision, matter is very well behaved. All matter is supposed to move within three-dimensional space and time according to certain fixed laws. The Newtonian vision describes a very reliable place inhabited by well-behaved and easily identifiable matter.